Hi everyone, Diana here. For your weekly messages from March 4th to the 10th, I thought that Daisy and I would come outside, and you see her tail already, and you may see her. We're up on our porch, and she may leave the porch, but it's raining, and I thought you might enjoy listening to the rain with us. It's a little bit chilly, but a fairly warm day for the beginning of March, and it's the beginning of the rainy season here where I live, and we actually still get more snow, and I know the eastern coast is getting hammered this weekend, but hopefully there won't be that much damage, and hopefully things will be fine. Stay safe. If you don't have to go out when it's not necessary to go out, please don't. We're going to try to settle Daisy down. Daisy, over here. Over here. Good girl. Now sit. Sit. Daisy, sit. We're going to give her her bone, so you'll probably hear her munching on it. That's not sitting. This is sit. Excuse me. Daisy. Good girl. Good girl. She's a border collie with a lab personality, so the lab likes to play, and if she's not rounding up the kitties, she's rounding up me as the border collie. So excuse the shaking of the tripod there. We'll try to keep her a little quiet. Okay, I have to tell you a Daisy story first, and it fits in with what I want to talk to you about this week. But first I want to tell you, in the U.S., there are going to be some more revelations, shall I say, in the political arena. We've begun where every week something is going to come out. I know you can hear Daisy's enjoying her bone, so enjoy it with her. Not that you have to gnaw on a bone, but I hope that doesn't disturb you, but it makes you laugh. It does me. Anyway, yeah, we're going to get more of the same, but there are going to be some surprises. And either this week or next week, this month is really kind of full of some surprises. Not surprises for everyone, but surprises for many. So just kind of expect that. That upheaval and the energy, the political energy, is just due in part to the upheaval in the energy overall. You've heard me talk about the wound has to be open in order for it to heal properly and not heal like this. So climate change is real, and it is causing a lot of erratic weather patterns, dangerous weather patterns, uncomfortable weather patterns. We can adapt. We will adapt. We don't have a whole lot of choice, so we have to adapt. And I want to say thank you. Thank you to every environmentalist that's working on this. Thank you to the animal lovers who are taking care of the animals. Thank you to those in the far, far north, northern climates who must adapt to your homes are being affected, and you have to adapt and move for helping each other. We are all family. The spring, this whole spring, I'm not seeing things calm, so I'm going to invite you to sit outside and listen to the rain when you can. And you know, it's a little foggy. You can kind of see that in the background. It's not a serious fog, but a little fog, and that's okay. That's okay to have a little rain and fog, because we don't always have to have everything in clarity. And that's part of what I want to talk to you about today. When we're going through transformations, things are not necessarily clear. That's when we have least clarity. During transformations, we'll have moments of clarity, but especially those of us in the U.S., we want to see the whole picture. But what happens when we're going through transformations is we see it a step at a time. We may see down the road the goal where we want to reach, but we won't necessarily reach it by taking leaps. Sometimes we get those leaps, but other times it's small steps. And that's hard for many of us to take small steps, but it's the healthy way and it's the safe way. When there's time for a leap, that leap will come. Right now, we're in the small step stage. And why? Because belief systems that we have are so strong that if we have to be ready for the leap, or if we move too quickly, if we make a leap when our belief system is back here, then this is really destructive and confusing, and whether it's an individual or it's a nation. And we can see that happening. Why are our belief systems, why do they hold us back? Why do they keep us from making those leaps? And again, I want to say there are times we absolutely can make those leaps, but those are rare compared to being able to take the next step. I want to talk about those belief systems. By the time we're 4 or 5 years old, our belief systems are pretty well set, and they come from our parents primarily. They come from our environment. They come from what we're taught in those very early years. That doesn't mean they stick to everyone, but they stick to most people. And in the sticking, Daisy didn't stay seated very long, did she? She wants to be part of this. We'll let her. But we'll apologize for her knocking against the tripod occasionally. So back to these belief systems. When we have a belief system and it's already cemented in our psyche by the time we're 4 or 5 years old, what happens is that's pretty hard to overcome. That's pretty hard to change, because to try to change that belief system when we're 20 or 30 or 50 or 70 is saying my whole life was wrong. Who's going to change their belief system to say my whole life is wrong? That's very difficult. And so if I challenge your belief system about you or about something you believe in, if I challenge you, you're going to get defensive and angry. Now again, not everyone, but that's kind of what we're seeing happening in our world today. That if I challenge someone on gun control or safe gun laws, if you believe that a gun protects you, and I say to you, guns have one purpose, and that is to kill. And if you feel you have to have a gun, you're living in a place of fear, not love, you are going to probably get angry with me because you need to defend your belief system. How do we get past this? Because we can't. Not all of us bought into the lessons we learned when we were 4 or 5 years old. Some of you didn't. I didn't. I was confused, but I didn't buy into the lessons in my family. I started school where I grew up, and at the age I was, we didn't have kindergarten. So I started school at the age of 5, and we were taught in my home and in the school to be seen and not heard. But I had lots of questions. And so one of those questions that came up in Sunday school got me kicked out. That question was simply, why do we have to pray through Jesus? Why can't we pray directly to God? Well, the Sunday school teacher didn't know quite what to make of that. What I wanted was to hear that we can pray directly to God. That doesn't mean we can't use individuals or individual spirits or someone we consider a master teacher like Jesus, or in my case, I use a spirit guide, Phillip. So it doesn't mean that we can't speak with angels. It doesn't mean that we can't talk directly to God. We can, but we also can talk to others in spirit world who might be easier to understand and can help us. Well, that's what maybe a little complicated more than I needed to hear as a 5-year-old, but I didn't hear any of that. What I heard instead is, you asked too many questions, and I was kicked out of Sunday school and sent upstairs to spend the rest of my time at that church with my grandmother. thinking she could control me a bit better. All it did was make me more curious, and of course then I'm listening to the adult sermons and I'm looking around and I'm saying, what you profess to believe on Sunday morning and Sunday night and Wednesday night at prayer meeting is not what I see happening out in the world. You preach kindness, but when I go out into the world, I don't see you kind to other people that you feel are less than you. I see the banker preaching generosity, but that's not what I see unless you know the person or you know the family. But what about those who need help? I see the politician preaching inclusiveness and then going out into the world and saying, but we're not here to help you. We're here to help our brothers. It was very confusing as a child. So I didn't buy into the belief system that I was taught. And I know some of you didn't either. So it was easier for us to break away from those early childhood lessons. And easier for us to see the world as bigger, to see God as bigger. And that's not to say in our belief systems we're stuck. But it is to say, if we understand that it's very difficult for many, many people to give up a belief system, then we're able to reach out in compassion with a bit of understanding. And we're able to then not be quite so judgmental and harsh about their belief systems. That's not to say we don't hold your feet to the fire. Your belief system may be harmful to us or others. And if so, we're going to call you out. I try to sit down with people who have different belief systems from mine and talk to them and get them to tell me, what is your belief system? What is it you believe? Do you believe in a religion? And if so, tell me about that religion. Do you believe in the humanity, the greatness of people, that people are good? If so, tell me why. Do you believe animals are better than people? If so, tell me why. I like to hear others' opinions. Sometimes I might get feisty and say, I can't believe that. That just seems so odd to me. Other times, I might open my mind a bit and maybe even see some value in the other's belief. It's worth trying. It's all we've got. We're going to have to heal this world. And the only way we're going to do that is to see the other through compassion and love. To see the other, although very different from us, very different from what I believe or you believe, very different in what I might have been raised with or you might have been raised with. But that's your belief system. And I want to reach out and hear it. I give you the right to disagree with me. It gives me that right to also disagree with you. Let me hear you, and please hear me. That's what we have to do, friends. Reach out and hear one another. I don't have to accept what you believe is real. You don't have to accept what I believe is right for you or real. But we do have to hear one another. Let's see what Phillip has to say, who is my spirit guide. And he gave me this oracle book, and each page is a different, it has a different wisdom on it. So each page is a right or left. We have to think right or left. And I want to thank those of you who, by the way, have purchased this book or one of my other books. I thank you very much for the purchase, and I also thank you for your comments. I thank you for your comments about the videos. Many of you have wanted to sign up for private readings, and all the information is below, including just giving me a phone call if you want to set an appointment. So thank you. For those of you who are new, welcome. We're so glad you came. So we're going to see what our message is this week from Phillip. So think left page or right page, and then we just kind of flip through or open if Daisy will let us, and we'll see what our message is for this week. Miss Daisy here. She's helping us, isn't she? Okay, shall we flip through? I think we're just going to have to Well, that's not the right page, Daisy says, so let's see what the right page is. All right, here we go. I'm hearing left page, but I'm also going to read right page because we always do. Excuse me. But here's our left page, and of course it fits right into what we've been talking about. And I think the reason it does that is because I always ask Philip for his guidance before we speak on the videos, and I always go to sleep the night before to say, what is it we're going to talk about? What is it that we need to let other people know about? So here's our message. You may see the same truths as another, but through the eyes of a different perspective. Let me read that again, shall I? You may see the same truth as another, but through the eyes of a different perspective. If we can keep that in mind, that your perspective and my perspective may not be the same, or it may be the same, but we're still all looking through the same eyes. I may love you, but have a different perspective from you. That's simple. To hear, much harder to live out. And on the right, it says, without risk, there is no adventure. Without risk, there is no adventure. Oh, my friend, go have an adventure this week. Go enjoy. You know, Daisy had a raincoat on earlier, and she was out walking in the rain. And she doesn't have her coat on now, so we're staying up on the porch because she didn't want to get all wet. And you can hear the rain, that it's come a little bit stronger. Excuse me. And walking in the rain is a wonderful adventure. So we may just go put our raincoats on and go for a walk. I hope you believe walking in the rain is a wonderful adventure. And I hope your beliefs give you happiness, joy, and certainly give you love. Thank you for loving me, for being with us today. Thank you for your comments and loving Daisy. We love you. Thank you for accepting that love. Until we meet again, this is Diana and Daisy saying, we'll see you next week. Bye for now. We love you.